So welcome guys. In this first video of coding. So in the previous video, I explained you about introduction to Python and how it is interpreted and how it is different for compile language and all. So in this video, I will start by executing a sample program. So I will just show you a print statement how to execute a sample code. So for that, I will be just using the default interpreter coming with Python called idle. So once you open that, it will show a prompt like this. Single commands you can directly execute. It's a 2 plus 3. It is directly showing the output. So now click on file, new file. It will create a new file, and I can save it. I can save it on desktop. Click on file, save, desktop. Let's say some test.py. Yeah, let me replace it. Any old files exist. So now it got saved here. Test.py. The extensions won't be visible. If you want to see the extensions, go to view, file name extensions. It will show the extension at the time. So by now we learned what kind of language Python is. We are finally ready to start writing code. So let's move on to the stuff. So the first thing is which I'm going to explain. Not only to Python, for whichever language you are entering. So whenever you are trying to start your code, the first statement every programmer used to do is he will just print a text "Hello World" on the screen. So let's start like that for the same. So, but every language will be having a different syntax. In Python, to print that statement, we'll be using a print statement. So just type print and whichever data we want to enter here. So whenever you are printing direct statements on the console, you need to surround them with either double quotes or single quotes. And I will be typing hello world. So that's it. So execute this one and just click on Control S will save it. The asterisk will go. Click on run module or click on F5. It will execute in the shell. If you close the shell, we can run again, run module. It will open and it will show the output here. You see, and it places the cursor in the next line. Here on this window, you can type individual commands also. You can directly type hello second time. When you run that, it will show the output here. If you are having multiple lines of code, obviously when you are writing a complex script, you'll be writing multiple lines of code. Then you need to create a .python file and enter multiple lines here. So the first line hello world is printed. Next, we will print multiple lines. Let's say print hello world. And next, if it is a alphabets, I will be using in the double quotes. If it is number, I will directly type like this. Some 10,000. Not only integer values and not only whole numbers, you can type decimal values also. 2.45 like that. This asterisk marks refers it is having changes which are not saved yet. You can click on file save or use the shortcut Control S and click on run module or use the shortcut F5. See, it printed all the print statements here. Hello, 50,000 and all. So you used multiple statements, print statements, to print multiple lines. You can use a single print statement also to print all of them. So let's say print, just to divide the earlier one, I'll be using this one. Let me run and see how it looks. Yeah, it kept this line. Now, the multiple enter keys will create an empty spaces in the middle. That one will be skipped anyway by the interpreter. So print, I will print the 50 number first. So next I want to print is 10,000, but instead of printing using a separate print statement, I'll simply use comma. And again, let's say I want to print the 3.456 something. And next I want to print this hello world statement. Understood? So click on Control S, that asterisk is gone. Run module. You see all got printed. But now if you observe, all got printed in a single line with a space separated. Understood? So in bold syntaxes, it will print on a separate lines, but here it is printing on a single line. So what you can do is you can use SCP as a separator argument and just type /n as new line. You can run. You see they got executed here. Now what I'm doing is default it is space character between different arguments. Now I change that space character to multiple I mean with the new line character. This is escape. I will explain more about this /n in the escape sequences. Present, I am just telling the interpreter to use new line character, the enter key, instead of using the space character. Understood? Similarly, here between multiple print statements, it will go print on a new line directly. So instead of that one, I can change that also by typing endl equal to space. And when I run that, oh, endl is not there. Save. It's end. So now if you observe hello world, after hello world, instead of keeping the 50 on a separate line, it is keeping in the same line because I replaced a default new line character with the space. Understood? So similarly, instead of space, let's say I will keep some limit, this one. I'll replace with all print statements here. Here it's not enough because for this print statement, I want to keep this spaces in the next line only. So I'm leaving that. You see, all this got printed with the separator as hash. So that's the difference. END is an argument used for where to keep the cursor at the end of the print statement, and SCP is between the arguments, multiple arguments in the print statement. Understood? So this piece of code is there. So in this code, I want to remove some content. But instead of remove some content, and not only this one, when you are testing some scripts in the future, let's say you want to change the logic of a particular feature block. You might remove the old code and run the new one, but if the new code doesn't work, for time being, you need to revert back to the old code. So in that case, it's better to not remove them completely. Instead, we will tell just the interpreter to ignore those lines by typing hash in front of them. So if I keep hash in front of them, those lines won't get executed. Understood? You can see the color is also changed. Now only the first and last lines will get executed. So when you click on run, you can see hello world. And as I kept this one, the next print statement will execute after this hash. So this 50 got printed there, and remaining 1000 and all printed as SCP is mentioned. It's with the new line. So let me remove this SCP and run this. You see, all got printed after this. So let me remove this with just the default one. Now it will be printed in two separate lines. Understood? So comments simply to say whenever you keep hash in front of any line, that complete line will be ignored by the interpreter. So it doesn't need to be the only code. So as it is anyway, it is ignored by the interpreter. You can write whatever you want. So you can write help documentation for your colleagues. Just say, so if some other tries to read the program later point of time, or you itself try to read the program after 1 year, you will understand why did you write that line. Separation of code using. So just before this line, I can understand why did I write this print statement, because I wrote this line. And anyway, that is ignored by the interpreter. Understood. So there is a multi-line concept also, but by default, Python doesn't support multi-line commands. So what we can do is we can use here strings. What there is doc strings, you can say. So here remove all these things. So all these lines I will keep in a double quotes, but double quotes should end in the same line, right? To support double quotes multiple lines, I will type this 3 times. So this complete part is a string. If I assign to a variable, let's say some a, this a refers to this complete data as a string. So after hello world, let's say I type a and run that. You can see that complete code is printed as a text here. So instead of assigning to a variable, if I simply remove that and kept like this without assigning to any variable, this is treated as a command. Internally, okay, this a is not defined now. I will remove that. Internally, what happening is it is creating a string object, the Python interpreter, but as it is not assigning to any variable, this will be collected by garbage collector and immediately it will be released. So it will create an extra burden, but there is a trade-off for using this multi-line commands instead of commenting each and every single line. Understood? So let's try more print statement examples. So if I want to so that's it for this video. In the next video, I will explain you about data types and variables and all. Thanks for watching.